The movie kicks off with his family, Evelyn, her husband Red, and their son Kane, who just moved to a new town. Evelyn is a carpenter and loves fixing up their new house, and Red just got a new gig as a supervisor at a construction site. So everything's going great, right? Wrong. Their son Kane is having a super hard time fitting in. The kids at school are total jerks to him, and one day he just snaps and gets into this massive fight with a bunch of them. So bam! The school suspends him for 3 whole days. Red is totally ticked off about it. He comes home and finds Evelyn hanging out with this guy named Uriah, who's a friend of hers. Now get this, Uriah can't talk, but he's a spiritual medium, which means he supposedly talks to ghosts and all that spooky stuff. Evelyn, who's super into this kind of thing, wanted him to check if their new house was haunted, but Red is not having it. He thinks it's all just a bunch of nonsense, gets really mad at Evelyn, and basically tells Uriah, get lost. Anyway, after that whole mess, they sit down to talk to Kane. They're like, what is going on with you? And Kane just spills the beans. He says all the kids make fun of him and don't think he's cute. It's super sad. So as punishment, they tell him no more video games, but they also feel kind of bad for him because it's not totally his fault, you know? To cheer him up, they decide to go on a trip the next day. Kane is so pumped. He wakes up before anyone else and runs in to wake him up. They all pack up and head to this forest for a picnic. While Kane is off playing, Evelyn tells Red she has a bad feeling about everything. She's like, I just don't think Kane is ever going to adjust here. But Red tells her to just be patient and things will get better. Then he gives her this awesome surprise. He set up a whole online store for her so she can sell all the cool wooden stuff she makes. Evelyn is totally thrilled, but they get so busy talking they completely forget about Kane. Total parent fail. After a long time, they realize he's gone, and they start freaking out, screaming his name all over the forest. And then they find him. He's just standing in front of this super creepy, mysterious door in the middle of the woods. There's no house or anything, just a door, and it's all chained up. Red's just like, whatever, it's just some junk. But Evelyn, being a carpenter, is like, no way! We need a door for that one room, and this thing is perfect. I can fix it up. So Red gives in, and they load this creepy door into their car and take it home. For the next 3 days, Evelyn works on that door day and night. She's totally obsessed. She pulls off all the old, rusty stuff, puts on new hinges, sands it all down, and gives it a fresh coat of paint. It looks brand new. Then, they hang it up on one of the rooms in their house, and of course, the next day, weird stuff starts happening immediately. You'd think they would learn. The very first day, Evelyn opens the door to get something, and this horrible, disgusting smell hits her right in the face, but she just ignores it, thinking it's probably just some dirty shoes. Then the next day, she comes home from grocery shopping and reaches into her pocket for her keys, but when she pulls them out, a whole bunch of gross worms fall out onto her hand. It was totally not normal. She freaks out, rips off her jacket, and checks the pocket, but it's completely clean. She tells Red about it that night, and he's just like, don't even think about it. Kane is probably just pranking you and put the worms in your pocket. Red's like, just sleep. I'll talk to Kane in the morning. So Evelyn tries to chill out, but later that night, she gets up for a glass of water, and bam, she sees this terrifying shadow in the hallway. She lets out this huge scream and flips on the light, and get this, it's just Kane. She asks him why he's not in bed, and he's like, I was scared. I'm having these awful dreams that a monster is chasing me. So they go into his room and do the whole parent thing, you know, telling him monsters aren't real and it's all in his head. After they finally get him to calm down, Evelyn starts to leave his room, but right behind her, a creepy black hand just slowly creeps out from behind that red door, and she doesn't even see it. Total horror movie moment. The next day, there's a knock, and it's Uriah, her spiritual medium friend. He looks totally freaked out. Since he can't talk, he's using all these wild hand gestures, basically saying her house is super dangerous now. He thinks some really nasty spirit has moved in, or maybe even something from another dimension. He's like, we gotta do a ritual to get this thing out of here, and Evelyn is all for it. So Uriah starts doing his thing, making a circle of salt around the house and lighting a bunch of candles. He asks her about the new door, and Evelyn tells him they found it in the forest. He instantly knows that's the problem. He takes some holy water, throws it on the door, and the lights in the house just flicker and die. He tells her they need to get that door out of the house, like right now. When Red gets home, Evelyn tells him everything. Red, of course, is like, I don't believe in any of this ghost stuff, but he agrees to get rid of the door just to make her happy. So the next day, Evelyn goes all detective mode and heads to the library. She asks the librarian if she knows any local spooky stories about missing people or monsters in the forest. The librarian says not really, but she does mention that there are stories about a cursed well, and get this, 20 years ago, a bunch of kids from the town just vanished into thin air. No one ever figured out what happened. Evelyn is totally shocked and gets copies of the old newspapers about it. She tries to show Red, but he just blows her off. He's like, you're spending way too much time with Uriah. All this ghost stuff is getting into your head. So she just drops it, and they go to bed. And when they wake up the next morning, you are not gonna believe this. All that new paint on the door has just peeled off in these big crusty chunks and fallen on the floor. The door looks just as old and creepy as it did when they found it. Evelyn tries to make an excuse like, oh, I must have bought some cheap, expired paint. You'd think they would learn. Anyway, after she drops Kane at school, we actually see a ghost. This spooky little girl is just wandering around the house, and Evelyn can't see her at all. The ghost girl walks around for a bit and then goes right back inside the red door. Evelyn hears the door close, but when she looks, there's nobody there. Then, of course, she gets another call from Kane's school. He's been suspended again for fighting, and this time it was even worse. A little part of her wonders if all this is somehow connected to the door, but then she remembers what Red said and pushes the thought away. She and Red decide to teach Kane some discipline. Red will take him to his construction site for a few days. Later, Evelyn gets some more of those old newspaper articles from the library. In one, she reads about a missing girl named Maggie, whose mom still lives in town. So Evelyn decides she has to go talk to her. She goes to the house, and the woman is super scared and barely even opens the door. Evelyn tells her she read the old news about Maggie, and the woman gets even more terrified. But when Evelyn says, I found an old door in the forest, the woman just gets furious.
Okay, so Evelyn had no clue what was going on. The old woman is like, come inside, and she starts telling this insane story. 20 years ago, her daughter, Maggie, was obsessed with this abandoned house. She went there every single day, and then one day, just like a bunch of other kids in town, she disappeared. Her mom just knew she had to have gone to that house. So get this, Maggie's mom was so convinced the house was cursed that she just burned the whole thing to the ground. But here's the crazy part. The entire house burned down, but that one single door was completely untouched by the fire. She knew right then that the door was some kind of portal to another dimension, or maybe even hell, and it was trapping the souls of all those innocent kids. So she chained it up and dragged it deep into the forest so no other kid could ever find it. And it worked. Kids stopped disappearing after that. But now, because Evelyn brought the door back into town, it meant history was about to repeat itself. As soon as Evelyn hears this, she gets a text from Red saying he left Kane at home by himself. She completely panics and races home, knowing her son is in danger. And when she gets there, it's her worst nightmare. Kane is gone. She calls Red, and they start searching everywhere. They call the police, and a huge investigation starts, but then they see one of Kane's little toy cars just roll out from under the red door. He's inside the door. Evelyn knows the police can't help. She knows the only person who can is Uriah. So she calls him over and tells him everything about Kane's nightmares, the story from Maggie's mom, all of it. Uriah confirms what they've all been dreading. The door is a portal and there's a demon on the other side. He tells them their only chance is to take the door back to the exact spot in the forest where they found it. So they do. They set up candles, and Uriah starts doing this intense ritual, drawing all these weird symbols on the ground. The whole forest gets super dark and creepy, and all the candles blow out. And then the demon shows up. They can't see it, but Uriah can. He tells the demon he needs to go through the door, and the demon is like, it'll cost you. You have to give me the key. Uriah hands over the key, and it just vanishes. Then the door swings open. All the lights go out again, and Uriah sees the souls of all the missing children trapped inside. So the three of them, Evelyn, Red, and Uriah, step through the door into this shadow world. It's just this dark, empty place filled with fear. The demon tells them he feeds on the fear of the children's souls he's trapped there. Evelyn begs him to take her instead of Kane, but the demon just laughs. He says only the souls of the afraid can stay here. Evelyn is desperate. She says she'll do anything to get her son back. So the demon offers her a deal. He'll give Kane back, but in return, she has to put the door somewhere where he can get the soul of a new child every single day. And Evelyn, blinded by her love for her son, agrees. She signs the contract. As soon as she signs, the door opens and a terrified, sick-looking Kane stumbles out. They're all back in the real world, but Uriah tells them it's not over because they signed the contract. When they die, their souls now belong to the demon, and first, they have to keep their promise and set up the door. The next morning, Evelyn packs up her stuff and leaves town with Kane, but Red stays behind. He has to finish the deal. He fixes up the door, paints it all nice and new, and then he does the unthinkable. He installs it in a school, a place where the demon will have an endless supply of children in fear. He feels terrible, but he's trapped. And the movie just ends there, showing that a whole new cycle of kids disappearing is about to begin. It's so messed up.